This Sunday is the final Sunday in the season after Epiphany, and it's also, as you might observe from the calendar, it's Valentine's Day. Valentine, of course, was a saint of the church, and you can read more about his life if you look on Wikipedia or any number of sites online. But we here at St. John's wanted to acknowledge that this is a coincidence that's happening on our calendar, and it's a wonderful opportunity for us to really celebrate God's gift of love in this world. After all, the season after Epiphany is all about Christ's manifestation, God's manifestation in the world. And that was all about bringing love to us, unasked for, unrequested, undeserved, God's love flowing through us. So we'll start off with a collect. The collect of the day will ask for us to have a portion of the love that we associate with St. Valentine. And then we'll begin singing some great hymns that talk about God's love for us. The readings will also have that same theme. And so we'll be reading a passage in the epistle lesson from the first letter of John. And this is probably the area of the Bible that talks most extensively about love and being children of love and passing that love on to one another. So after that then, the sequence hymn, we will sing this beautiful text by Horatius Bonar, O love of God, how strong and true, which in our hymnal is matched with the very graceful tune, Dunaden. That hymn poet, Horatius Bonar, was a Church of Scotland clergyman. He was way up in the north of the British Isles and part of a family that lots of clergymen. In fact, there was an unbroken span of about 365 years where his family were active members in the Church of Scotland. But we remember Horatius Bonar most for his wonderful hymns that he has left us. The offertory anthem, the choir will be singing some very familiar words. Love divine, all loves excelling, joy of heaven to earth come down, fix in us thy humble dwelling, all thy faithful mercies crown. Words, of course, of Charles Wesley. And while we are familiar with several tunes that we sing as hymns, the choir will be singing these words to some music by the American composer Ned Rorem. And Ned Rorem wrote this as sort of a hymn with wrong notes. So it's kind of a jazzy, off-kilter feel for a very familiar texture. Ned Rorem originally wrote that music back in the 60s, and in the 1990s he was commissioned to write an opera based on Our Town, the Sinclair Lewis play, and he actually uses that tune as part of the setting of Our Town, which is kind of interesting as well. At the communion, the choir will be singing Edward Bairstow's setting of some text from the Song of Solomon, I sat down under his shadow, and some of the most tender poetry in the Bible. And again, an idea of the intimacy of love and that intimate embrace that God offers to us. Bairstow matches that with some really exquisitely beautiful music. The choir starts off very low in their texture, and the tenor comes in with this haunting, haunting solo. Really beautiful music. Even the organ voluntaries that surround the service will get in on it. The opening voluntary is a setting of Johannes Brahms of the text in our hymnal 339, Deck thyself, my soul, with gladness. And this is one of the most beautiful pieces in the organ repertoire. So all through the service, we'll be celebrating God's love, love that we have here on earth, and the love that binds our community together. We hope that as you drive down Kingston Pike this week and see the signs in other churchyards that have the Love Thy Neighbor Knoxville signs, and we'll also have that sign here at St. John's, we hope that you will join us as we share in that love of neighbor, love of God, and love of each other.